Hello and welcome. My name is Odin, and this is a demo video about the BettyBlocks platform for the cooperation between BettyBlocks and the law of tech. Let's dive into the platform. Before we can actually get started with building applications, there's always some things that we need to keep in mind. For example, like we need to think of a problem, an evaluation, is the value, is it even worth it, who is going to use it, all of that stuff. Well, that's a lot of processing that we need to do before we can actually dive into the platform, because it happens with every tool that you're going to use. Is the tool something, how are we going to use that tool? So what I've done is I've done a little bit of pre-written research. After recording the video podcast, I discovered that the person sitting next to me in the last episode, Marco, he has a booming business. He's an awesome guy. He's a cool guy to talk to, and everyone wants to work with him. So the issue is that so many people want to talk to him that he loses sight in who, I didn't even finish the sentence, can you imagine, is asking him the questions. So what I've done is I've written down these things. What is the problem? What are we going to collect and do with this application? And what kind of pages, what kind of, what kind of pages does our application need? Because as we've spoken about, BettyBlocks is a low-code platform that allows you to build your own application without having to use code. It is amazing if you know a little bit of the programming basics. So you know that an application like Google, Yahoo, Amazon, name it, it has pages. So it's the stuff that you see. It has a database behind it. And it has all kinds of actions running in between those two. And that's exactly what BettyBlocks does. However, it's a little bit simplified because that way it's way more accessible for everyone. And that's what we think is important. So to help Marco and his booming business, we're going to create an application that allows people to sign up for Marco's amazing services. And we're going to grant Marco a login system, that way that he can log into this application and view whoever has asked him all these questions. And that way he can collect it easily without having to reach out to it himself. And he can just do it on his own pace. And he can control the things that he does. And this is only on slight scale. Imagine what you can do with it if you're doing this on a grand enterprise kind of scale. It's amazing. So, what are we going to collect? The data Marco needs is the name of the person who wants to reach out to him. He wants an email address, a company name, a company department, and their request, of course. So, then besides that, the kind of pages that we need, we want a homepage with a form that collects our data. We also want a login page for Marco so that he can log in and view the data himself, because you don't want everyone to have access to the data, of course. And we want a back office page that actually shows that kind of information. A page that is only accessible to admins and shows this data is what we call a back office page. So let's dive into the platform. I'm here in my organization, and within my organization, I have already created Marco's prospect tool. Well, what I've done is simply with Betty, I can use some predefined templates, some setup templates. So whenever I click create application, there are some templates, some nice flows out there for me that allow me to start with some stuff that has been created already, saving me a lot of time and work. And the best thing is you can even create those templates getting started even faster. It's great. So I've created Marco's prospect tool based off a login application or a login template. So there's already a login functionality, etc. set up. So what we can do is we can look at this and look at like the home page, and there's like a nice login page as well. Normally we'd have to drag and drop all of this together. Now it's done for us. Awesome. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually delete this homepage and set up something I like better, because this is not a homepage that I particularly like. It's like nice and simple, good to get started, but it can be a little bit more pretty and Marco-esque, of course. So, going to the settings, deleting a page. I'm not going into all of the details of what I'm exactly doing. If you want to know more, I can also guide you through our essential path, That way we can build an application together For now, I'm just going to do some stuff a little faster. So I deleted the home page. Now I do need to change some stuff because our other pages are referring to this home page, and that is something that I need to be careful of, because otherwise, well, as you can see, there's like a little red error thingies popping up, and that's something that we don't want to happen. Okay, so and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new page. So from our page templates, also pre-built page templates, we have some cool stuff. And as I can see immediately, there's an inspirational homepage. And this is a homepage that I personally love. It looks way better. And we are going to use a login profile, allowing Marco to log into this page. So there we go. And as you can see, it's just a bunch of stuff that is already pre-built for us, allowing me to set up that data gathering homepage. Well, as you can see, this looks pretty spliffy. It looks pretty spiffy already. It's good stuff. So let's look at that. I needed to change something over here as well for the homepage, because it still refers to our previous homepage. But as I mentioned, we don't want that thing. We want this pretty thing. That's even better. There we go. And then there is also the login page that I need to update one more time. Going to the new homepage, save. And there's also something in another partial that I need to update. There we go. Whoop-a. Everything is redirected to our new homepage. So let's actually change that homepage. And let me show you how easy it is to change your own pages, to create a simple application like this, because the only things I've done so far is I've configured some stuff, I've selected some stuff, and right now what we're going to do is I'm going to change this pre-setup page, because as we see, it's a welcome to our site. Well, this is going to be something like Marco's amazing service tool. And what we're going to do is the text down here is going to be Marco knows what's up. And he will help you reach your maximum potential. There we go. Took me a little while, but there we go. So Marco's amazing service tool, that's what we're creating right here. And instead of CR cases, see pictures of Rocco, Marco's cute dog. It's always nice. You know, this is what gets the customers going, because customers know they want to see cute animals, great service, and yeah, that's all you're there for, right? And let's immediately pop up that form, because everyone wants to get in contact, get in touch. Let's be real. If we are doing professional websites and tools and apps, a little bit more goes into setting up a proper design for your page. But today we're just showing off the power of setting up something quick, fast, and nice. So I'm dragging in a create form component. So what we're doing is I'm going to select this form, and this form is what is going to get the data from customers. So it's a form on a page. Imagine a sign-up form, for example. In this case, you're signing up to Marco's services, and this form is connected to our database. So within our database, we're going to create a model, and this is going to be the prospect model. These are Marco's prospects. And well, here we can add properties, and the properties is basically the information we want to receive from these customers so that we can help Marco out do his business a little faster and better. So let's look into that. So what do we want? We want a name. Let's make it capital. There we go. And as I said, like in my pre-written setup, we want a name, an email address, a company name, company department, and their requests. So name, email, and then we can select the type so that it also checks if it actually is an email. So there we go. We want the email type. Then we want a single line again for the company name, company. Then we're going to add another single line for company department. I could also even call it just department to make it easier. And then in multi-line, because we want to give people a little more time and space to type. So here we go, a question, because that's the question that they are going to ask Marco. Maybe it's just an autograph, or maybe it is something valuable like, hey, help me update my services to become even more amazing. Gamify my website so that it looks even better. So there we go. So now, whenever a prospect signs up, we can ask them these things: a name, an email address, a company, department, and a question. Okay, well, we're going to select this prospect model, and now we're going to configure this form. So the first thing we ask them is their name, then an email, the department, the company, and the question. So press save, and bam. Within a couple of seconds, a form that will ask all of these questions is configured and will work within our front end. So, and if you feel like, you know what, the order that I put this in isn't correct, it's as easy as just dragging and dropping. So we have a department. Well, normally I'd ask the company before the department. So let me drag this. And this is how easy you can change all of these things within your page builder pages. This is pretty cool. Well, and now the only thing we can do is press play. Let's have a look at how this looks like in the front end. So here we go. Now look at this page. I see that I have made this is not a public page, of course. Save settings. We don't want this page to have any restrictions. We just want this to be open and accessible for everyone. So I'm just changing some stuff, you know, can happen. Wait for the green mark to compile, and there we go. Press the play button again, and our page is live. So here we have Marco's amazing service tool. We can even fill in some information. However, before we are going to fill in some information, or I could already do that, saying like I would be asking Marco some questions. Logs.com from the education department. Marco, please help me make my service even cooler, faster, better, stronger. Daft Punk. Send. So the form has been submitted, but now we need to create a segment in which Marco can see that, oh, we're actually requesting some information from him. So let's do that. We're also going to be creating a new back office page. So create new page, a back office page, use the back office template, and we are going to use the authentication for this. And this is going to be called the prospect back office page. Create the page. We're using whatever Betty suggests for us, and we are going to be using that prospect model that we have created earlier. The main information on the page that I want to show is the name of the prospect, the company that he/she works for, and the question that they're asking. So press save, and the page will be generated in a couple of seconds. So once this is done, we basically have a couple of pages. We're going to create them, or we're going to connect them together, and then we can actually test and see how this all works together. So basically what you see here is you have an admin menu in which you can see all the web users of your application, email stuff, and all these questions that are being asked. So let's make sure that we also add that little new page that we've just created in here. It's gonna pop up a little bit, but that's all right. And there we go. I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna change this email segment, and I'm gonna call it prospects. There we go. And we're going to be linking this to the prospect page. So what I'm doing here is I'm changing some configurations, some settings, so that once we're actually looking at the live web page, It also allows us to navigate to these prospects, because this button that we have over here, we didn't have that before. So press play. Wait till it compiles. So basically what compiling does is it builds all these pages for you. It makes sure that like it looks nice live, and it also means that whenever you're building within your page, it doesn't immediately change in the front end, because imagine you would be working, you would be like scrolling through a website and everything changes all of a sudden. No, someone actually needs to push a button before it all changes. So let's register Marco's account. Awesome. Oh, I'm not going to use any other last name. So marco@awesome.com. I need to copy this because I might forget that email address. Create an account. Let's log in. And well, Marco, this is of course his tool. So normally he would not leave any requests to his own tooling, of course. But he can go to the back office of his own tool. And here you can see a web user has been created. And that's his own web user. But a prospect has also requested some help. It's Odin. And if I press the information button, I can see, Marco, please help me make my service even cooler, faster, better, stronger. With the information. So now Marco can see and collect all of these users. He can even style this application to look way better than what it does. And that all, well, I believe within like half an hour, done. So, do you also want to build something like this? Or do you want to build something yourself? Feel free to build along with the tools and the learning paths that we offer, and reach out to us. Thanks, and Marco and Odessa, thank you for having me. I hope this demo shows you a little bit of the awesome tool Betty Blocks is. And yeah, happy building.